Hello everybody, this is Mr. McAllen. I'm here talking about some identity proofs, and we're going to work on the two problems 4 and 6 from class today, and this is just to serve as review, just because these were like the two hardest ones we had to work on today. So on number 4, we're going to start with the left side, and we're going to just FOIL or multiply sine of A plus cosine of A. We're just going to square that out. And we'll get sine squared of A plus cosine of A sine of A. Now this part here, we have the outer and the inner terms. We have from this the first times first and the last times the last, and our first reason would be we would just say FOIL. The next step is we're going to replace sine squared of A plus cosine squared of A with a 1 from a Pythagorean identity. And we're going to add these two components together, and I'm going to just say adding as a reason and Pythagorean identity. So now we're going to just convert, because remember we're trying to get to this. So if you look at 2 plus secant of A cosecant of A, this whole expression is in terms of secants and cosecants. So I'm going to just rewrite this expression 2 cosine of A sine of A as being 2 times 1 over secant of A times 1 over cosecant of A. And that would be rewritten as 1 plus 2 over secant of A cosecant of A. And the reason for that, I'll just say reciprocal identities. And then I'm going to add these two numbers. I've got to change this to a fraction with the same denominator. So remember going over in class, if you want to convert 1 to a fraction, you got to remember whatever you do to the denominator, you have to do to the numerator. And now that I have the two common denominators, I can just add the numerators. I've got 2 plus secant of A cosecant of A over secant of A cosecant of A. And if you look at what I had up above to start, I match. So that would be the proof for number 4. Remember, you have to have your reasons written on the side, and you have to recognize which identities to use for substitution and for adding fractions and so on and so forth. Over here on number 6, let's what I suggested to the class for this one was to multiply by the conjugate. So that's the way we're going to proceed through this problem. So you can see here the bottom has a term that's being, two terms being added. So our conjugate, we're going to just start out with 1 minus cosine of x over 1 plus cosine of x. So we're going to multiply numerator and denominator by the same thing, but it will be the conjugate of the denominator. We're going to get in the top 1 minus cosine of x times 1 minus cosine of x, and in the bottom we're going to get 1 minus cosine squared of x. I'm going to FOIL the top, and I'm going to use an identity on the bottom. So now we're going to have 1 minus 2 cosine of x plus cosine squared of x all over sine squared of x. Now, the reason for this step, so right here this is conjugates. This is nothing right here. This step is, really just rewriting. This step here, we have a Pythagorean identity and foiling in the numerator. Rewrite everything as a separate fraction. We have 2 cosine of x over sine squared of x, and we have cosine squared of x over sine squared of x. Now in the next step, I'm going to rewrite this as cosecant squared of x. Over here, I'm going to write this as 2 cosine of x over sine of x times 1 over sine of x. And over here, I'm going to write this as cotangent squared of x. So now, let me just take one more step to rewrite this. Cosecant squared of x plus, this is 2 cotangent of x cosecant of x plus cotangent squared of x. So, this happens to be a form that can be factored. If you look at the x method and you consider what multiplies to give you 1, because you have a 1 here and a 1 here, adds to give you 2, the magic numbers are going to be 1 and 1. You can rewrite this and then group. You can rewrite this as cosecant squared of x plus 1 cotangent of x cosecant of x plus 1 cotangent of x cosecant of x. My job here is I'm trying to factor this. I can then group, and if you notice, when you see is at the end, I'm going to have the factors to be cosecant of x plus cotangent of x times cosecant of x plus cotangent of x, and that's what the identity called for. Prove that, we're going to arrive at cosecant of x plus cotangent of x quantity squared, and that is our identity proved. I'll just zoom out so we can see the whole thing from start to finish. And those are all the steps, and that's why this one was the hardest question that we've asked of you so far. So, good luck everybody, and I look forward to seeing your work tomorrow and your comments. Take care.